Alright, what is up guys? VV back with another video, and today we are finally going to be looking at some OP-05 stuff. Awakening of the New Era is the name of this set. So we have got some spoilers in today's video. Today I'm going to be going over the leaders from OP-05, and I'm going to kind of do this the same way I did OP-03 and OP-04, where I do the leaders first, then I do red, and then I think it's green, blue, purple, whatever order it's in on the site, and I'll just go straight down the line per video. So yep, just to give you guys a heads up of what's coming up here. So let's go ahead and go through it, guys. Let's go ahead and check out these cards. As usual, if I say something or if I miss something, by all means correct me in the comment section below. Tell me what I missed, tell me what I needed to fix, and so on and so forth. Alright, and I love to hear your comments and your feedback. So if you just want to mention something, or if I miss something, like I said, just mention. Don't be afraid to mention in the comment section below. Okay, just want to get that out of the way. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into this. So first leader up is going to be Sabo. 5,000 power, 4 life, very basic stats for a dual colored leader. Standard, I should say, not basic, but standard stats. Red-black leader, special attribute, revolutionary army type. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Effect is Dawn ×1, opponent's turn, once per turn. If your character with 5,000 power or more would be KO'd, you may give that character minus 1,000 power during this turn, instead of that character being KO'd. So this is very much like the blocker, right? The 5-cost, 6,000 power Dressrosa blocker that has, you know, on play, your character's going to be KO'd by effects during this turn. So the 1 Dawn investment is nothing, you know, that's nothing, right? That's not bad at all, especially if you're trying to protect your characters. You'll just know to attach that during the turn. It is only during your opponent's turn. It is only once per turn, and it can only target characters that are 5,000 power or more. But again, that's also not the worst thing ever, right? Like we can really deal with that. That's nothing, you know. That's going to take care of your Borsellino. That's going to take care of your Sabo, the character, and your Sakazukis, your Ishos, your Kuzans, and everything like that. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't say if your character with base 5,000 power more would be KO'd, because I already see a world in which, you know, red decks get around this by just dropping the cost of your characters. But maybe not. Who knows? Maybe it won't be that practical, because you'll already be running things like Borsellino that can't be KO'd by card effects, or Fukuro. You know, so the cards that are low enough in power, maybe they'll already have enough resilience baked in, right? Maybe like a Marco 4-cost. But yeah, I think this effect is fine, and I think there's a lot of good synergy between red and black in this regard. Like, you know, there's already been a red and black leader in GARP, and that was dealing with cost reduction, so it kind of was exclusively only dealing with your, you know, the navy cards, right? And it kind of left red out, or vice versa. You'd go primarily red, and now you're leaving out the navy cards, and GARP's ability is kind of useless then, right? But this leader's ability is very generic. It's just if your character with 5,000 power or more would be KO'd, you can just minus 1,000 power for the turn, and then it's fine. You know, once per turn, you know, with 1 Dawn attached to this leader. Yeah, I think this is fine. I give this a 7.5 out of 10. If I were to rate this, like, it's not bad, and it's also not insane. I think this is just a very, you know, above average leader, though, because you can dip into red and black for what that's worth, even though you only have 4 life. You know, I've mentioned that in previous videos as well, but I still think it's fine. I think this leader is pretty good, and the way it works, you're giving cards that already have a lot of resilience even more resilience, right? So I think this can work. I don't know if it will, but I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. All right, next leader. Okay, next up we have Bellow Betty. This is a 4-life, 5,000 power red-yellow leader. Now, red-yellow is the last color combination that has not been done yet, so this is the final color combination leader here. So, this is another Revolutionary Army leader that has special attribute. So let's see what it does. Activate main once per turn. You may trash 1 Revolutionary Army type card from your hand, And then up to 3 of your Revolutionary Army type characters or characters with a trigger gain plus 3,000 power during this turn. Okay, that's oddly specific, but I guess it's to, you know, to make sure red doesn't go crazy with a leader like this. Because just imagine this with like a Zoro deck, right? It would just be completely busted, I guess. There's no Dawn investment here, and all you're doing is trashing a card from hand to potentially give out 9,000 power across 3 bodies, right? 3,000 to 3 different bodies. The only thing that will really hinder this card is going to be how good is this red and yellow going to be at sustaining 2 or more bodies on the board. Because giving plus 3,000 to a character is decent, you know, if you're playing like Magra or Makino, but on the leader, but for trashing a card from hand, giving plus 3,000 to one character is not really that insane, right? So I don't think you get much benefit from this leader's ability until you can, you know, at least buff 2 characters on the board, and obviously 3. Now the question becomes, you know, what kind of, I don't know what red and yellow Revolutionary Army type characters there are currently. Now it does, you know, it can hit cards with trigger, but the card you have to trash from your hand has to be Revolutionary Army. So maybe that's what's coming out in OP-05. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that when we go over the red and yellow colors. But on paper, yes, I think this leader's ability is potentially insane, plus 9,000 power. For no Dawn, right? Just activate main once per turn, trash a card from your hand, give plus 3,000 power to 3 characters. You know, that's pretty strong. So that, like, again, like I said, the question will be, how good will this color combination be at maintaining 3 Revolutionary Army type characters or trigger characters on the board in order to get the full benefit from this ability? I don't know. This is an interesting leader. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm pretty torn on this leader. Because, like I said, if we can really maintain the 3 characters that we need that are Revolutionary Army type or trigger characters from red and yellow, then this could be insane, right? This could really push, you know, make a deck that's just broken. But if we can't, then all of a sudden this is a less than average deck. So I'm going to put this one at 7.5 out of 10. Because, like I said, and I don't know. I can already tell in my head people are going to be like, dude, you're crazy. This leader can potentially give plus 9,000, like I just said. But again, I just have to see this. We'll have to see. But right now on paper, I give this a 7.5 out of 10, and I would not be surprised if it's something even crazier than that down the road. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was even worse than that. I got to see with this one. Okay, next leader. Don Quixote Rocinante. We have a 4-life, 5,000 power green-blue leader that is special attribute with the type Navy Don Quixote Pirates. Okay, it's a blue-green Navy type, so right away I'm not insanely impressed with that type, but the Don Quixote Pirates part's fine. Effect is blocker. Okay, so blocker on a leader. That's a first for us. You know, that's a first in the game. And then end of your turn, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, set this leader as active. Okay, I was going to say there has to be some way to stand this leader back up, or else the blocker effect is just limiting your heroes or your leader's, you know, potential to swing. So realistically, you're going to be taking a life card, right? I don't know. So this is a really strange leader here. I'll have to see what blue and green has to offer for it. But I will tell you this right now. At first glance, and someone always, don't be afraid to correct me if I'm wrong or if I miss something. You know, share your comments in the comment section below. But I feel like I'm missing something with this leader. I give this a 5 out of 10, and I just don't like it. Like, I just flat out don't like the idea of my leader blocking. But maybe that ends up being very powerful with cards like Flapping Thread, where your leader's plus 2,000 for the rest of the turn or something. You know, I don't know. Maybe that ends up being, you know, potentially very strong. But yeah, on paper though, I'm not a big fan of this leader. Not to say it's bad, but I give this a 5 out of 10. It's blue and green. It doesn't have a... does that have a lot of synergy? Like, someone in the comment section, tell me if you know. I don't see blue and green as having that much incredible synergy. But, again, we'll have to see over time. Blue offers a pretty decent amount of utility by OP-05, I'm sure. And green does have some pretty strong core cards. So we'll have to see. All right, so next leader. Okay, we have Sakazuki here. This is a 5,000 power, 4 life leader. Blue-black color, special attribute, navy type. It has 2 effects. Activate on your main once per turn. You may trash 1 card from your hand and draw 1 card. And then it has, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Okay, this is definitely more of my style kind of card. And, you know, I should mention, going back to Bellow Betty, like, maybe this is just not my style card, so I don't have enough appreciation for it. I don't know. But like, a card like this, I just see as being extremely good. And that's where I know a lot of people would be like, well, you know, there's people who are the opposite of me, right? And that's fine. You know, to each their own, everyone's different. But this leader, for me, seems incredible. You have a default blue-black leader now. Because remember, Rebecca was not really blue-black. Rebecca was really Dressrosa, basically mono-black. You know, at least that's what we saw in the OP-04 meta from the East, you know, looking at tournament results and whatnot. It wasn't really that much blue at all. It was mainly just black. Well, this Sakazuki leader is very much neutral, even though it is a navy type. You can run this in any kind of, or you can splash this leader in anything you want to make a blue-black deck out of. So, that activate main to just every turn you're cycling through a card, you can actually run 4 Marinefords in a deck like this, and this leader just says, okay, you play the first one, right? So pay 1, you know, for those who don't know how Marineford works, it has an on play to subtract the cost of a character by 1, and you can activate main to subtract the cost of the character by 1, and then you can attack with this leader to subtract the cost of a character by 1. So that would be 3 in 1 turn, and then 2 for the rest of the game. Well, if you start drawing more and more of those Marinefords from your deck, no problem. That's just the easiest card in the world to cycle out of your hand to draw another card with this leader's effect. This also helps you get rid of, if you get flooded with Sakazuki, Smokers, Ishos, Kuzans, and cards like that, well, no problem. You can just trash them to draw another card and go through your deck faster. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this, especially when you start considering the blocker power that is going to be in blue-black. You're going to have access to Borsellino, Fukuro, Doflamingo, the 3-cost top 5, you know, the one that arranges the top 5 cards of your deck, and Sabo from OP-04. So I'm a big fan of this card. Then you're going to be able to introduce Mihawk into a deck that has black in it for cost reduction. Yeah, I'm a very big fan of this leader. I think this is going to do it pretty well. I'm going to give this, again, this might sound biased. I know, like, a lot of people lean towards red and they see how powerful it is, and I know it is. I know it's very powerful, but I see this as being a leader that's like an 8.5 out of 10. Very, very happy with the way this leader is. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we got Monkey D. Luffy. This is a monocolored leader, the only one we've seen so far from this set. A 5 life, 5,000 power, purple, strike attribute, straw hat type leader. This leader has effect, activate main, once per turn. You may add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. Okay. If you have 0 or 3 or more Dawn cards on your field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So I am not a fan of that. I'm going to be honest. I don't like this idea of taking a life card. I'm not saying that this deck won't work. Well, and not to mention, we'll have to see what comes out of purple in OP-05. You know, until, you know, we won't know until we get to those cards. But excuse me. But I do think that man, again, this is a leader I'm just not a big fan of. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not a big fan of that effect. Because against certain decks, like say you're going against a aggro deck, right? Like a red aggro deck, and they're just pinging away at your life. Well, this is just a dead effect then, right? And it's literally dead when you have 0 life cards. And when you're down to 1 or 2 life cards, do you actually use this leader's effect to go down even further in life cards? to, you know, just to ramp a Dawn? I don't know. And you guys tell me in the comment section below what you think about it. Gosh. I do see it as being decent against the non-aggro decks. Like anything that's mid-range to control feeling, this character says, oh, I'm going to draw cards, all right. Like I'm going to draw a card for the turn, and I'm even going to draw a card from the top of my life to go further and further to 10 Dawn, so I can activate some huge, you know, huge characters, right? And again, you're not trashing the card from the top of your life, which is nice. You are drawing it, increasing your hand size. But I just feel like, I don't know. Okay, so the more I think about it, realistically, you're going to get to, you know, you're probably going to activate this right on turn 3, right? Turn 2 or 3, because you have to have 0 or 3 or more Dawn cards on your field, and it sets the Dawn card as active. So I'm kind of selling myself on this leader, you know, just by talking through it. And okay, I'm going to give this leader, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. This is another leader that I don't think is insane, but I also don't think is bad. Because, you know, ramping Dawn consistently like this without having to dedicate cards in your deck to it can really allow you to do some interesting things. And I'm very curious to see how this leader shapes up. This might be even closer to an 8.5 out of 10. I don't know. You guys know what y'all think in the comment section below. Very good leader, though. I don't think this is bad at all. And I also want to mention that I try to underrate cards. So that way, if it is better than average, okay, cool, we can just be like, nice, this was even better than I thought. And then if it's worse than we thought, then okay, well, we didn't get too excited on it, you know, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we have NL. Don't know. However you say that. And I do apologize, guys. I do not watch the anime or, you know, read the manga or anything like that. So I don't know how to say all these names of these leaders and characters. So this is a yellow monocolor leader that only has 4 life, 5,000 power, special attributes, Sky Island type, and has the effect, opponent's turn once per turn. When your number of life cards becomes 0, add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Then trash 1 card from your hand. So this is actually very similar to Black-Yellow Charlotte Linlin, the Black-Yellow Big Mom deck. Not completely, right? It's not the exact same, but it has the same feel of like, I'm going to trash a card from my hand, and then I'm going to go from 0 life to 1 life. But, you know, with Charlotte Linlin, she can go from 1 life to 2 life, though, as well. Interesting. I think this is very good. A very good leader. Anytime it's yellow and it has 4 life, I'm not too concerned, especially when the leader's effect says right there, you're going to trash a card and gain a life. Potentially. Interestingly, it's opponent's turn once per turn. So if you're at 1 life and you choose to use like a Thunderbolt and you go down to 0 life, you're not going to get this effect. But you get to control that, obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna give this card a. I don't know. I'm not blown away by this leader ability, but again, I know I sound like a broken record at this point. It's not bad, but it's also not insane to me. I will say that if you build this deck defensively, it'll probably be very hard to crack this deck, right? Because even if you're going against like another yellow deck and they play a Big Mom, well, if you're at 1 life and then they play Big Mom, it says right here, when your number of life cards becomes 0, add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So you'll still get the effect, and there's no Dawn investment required, but you do have to trash a card from hand. So I'm going to go 7 out of 10. I think this leader has a lot of potential, and I think it'll have a pretty good attrition battle against most decks. Like it'll really kind of sustain if you can't just overcommit and punch through to get that last life. But pretty cool, pretty interesting leaders. So okay, guys, that's it for the leaders. Yeah, we went over Sabo, we went over Bellow Betty, we went over Don Kyote Rosinante, Sakazuki, Monkey D. Luffy, and Enel. So you guys tell me what y'all think. Like, what leader are you most excited to try from OP-05? And I know this is like probably 4 or 5 months away from us in the West, but it's still fun to think about. It's fun to talk about. I had a question from one of from one person in one of my videos asking me what I think about a list for Sakazuki. I'm going to come up with that as soon as I'm done reviewing all these, because y'all know me. I run black decks. So this leader is obviously the one that I want to build around. I'm also interested in Sabo, again, for the same reason. This is my theme, the black deck, the black cards. The black decks are the ones that I'm always building. So that's what I'm going for. So Sabo and Sakazuki is what I'm most interested in. Bellow Betty, I can't wait to see how that goes. And the same thing with Rosinante, yeah, but actually Luffy. The Monkey D. Luffy and the Bellow Betty, I'm most interested to see how those turn out. I'm least excited. I don't know why. I'm just least excited about Rosinante and Enel. But again, I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. So please don't be afraid to leave your, leave your comments in the comment section below. And yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about it for me for this video. And I appreciate you guys listening, especially if you made it this far. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.